A very good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here tonight, this Thursday evening. We do hope you had yourselves a productive day, and here's a sneak peek of our edition. RDF hosted defense attachés for a security brief on internal and regional security dynamics. Security analysts in the Great Lakes region shows that certain reports, including those by the United Nations and its agencies, saying they appear to hinder the implementation of the Washington peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. On the international scale, security threats have cast a long shadow over trade in Nigeria's northeast for years, with Boko Haram and local bandits posing significant challenges to businesses. Once again, we're glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and I bringing you tonight's edition is Martina Abera. Kicking things off with RDF, who hosted defense attachés for a security brief on internal and regional security dynamics. We have more coming from Enora Gladys.
Defense attaché and associates accredited to Rwanda were hosted today at the Ministry of Defense and Rwanda Defense Force headquarters for a security brief. They were updated on Rwanda's internal and external security situation, as well as on RDF's engagements in UN peacekeeping and bilateral military operations. In his welcoming remarks, Brigadier General Patrick Karuretwa, Director General of International Military Cooperation at the Ministry of Defense, emphasized that the security brief held helps in strengthening mutual understanding and contributes to collaborative approach to promote peace across the region and beyond.
We believe that these engagements that we hold on a regular basis strengthen our mutual understanding, but they also contribute to our collective efforts to promote peace and security across the region and beyond.
Following a series of presentations and an extensive interactive session, the representative of the DA Association, Brigadier General Emmanuel Shilingi, said that they were grateful for regular security briefings and reiterated that they provide invaluable insights onto the host nation's perspectives, as well as internal and regional security dynamics. He also affirmed their commitment to strengthening, promoting, and preserving cooperation and mutual understanding as partners in development. The event was attended by 22 defense attachés and associates representing various countries and international organizations, namely Angola, China, Denmark, Egypt, Ethiopia, France, Japan, Jordan, Mauritania, Namibia, Qatar, South Korea, Tanzania, Turkey, Uganda, the United Kingdom, the United States of America, Zambia, Zimbabwe, the European Union, and the International Committee of the Red Cross. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Security analysts in the Great Lakes region show that certain reports, including those by the United Nations and its agencies, saying they appear to hinder the implementation of the Washington peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as the Doha peace process between the DRC and the M23. Adam Squizera with more.
Both reports by UN experts and other organizations that claim to advocate for human rights are often criticized for failing to reflect the realities on the ground in Eastern DRC. According to regional political and security analysts, these reports are usually influenced by specific interests pursued by the organizations behind them.
It reflects a lot of the strategies used by the government of Kinshasa, because they can invest as many dollars as they need in journalism, in everywhere, provided that they get the echo to blame, wrongly of course and falsely, to blame FC M23 and Rwanda and RDF. So for them it's a song which is there to be sang and in a chorus, and that's it. So for me and for anybody else who is reasonable, I will not even pay attention to such statements. It's the same format, the same people, the same, the same language.
This criticism also applies to a recent report by the UN Human Rights Commission, which accused the M23 of killing civilians in North Kivu, a claim that, according to analysts, was made without presenting credible evidence.
I'm not seeing from his statement associating the deaths to M23 in exclusion of any other possible group for the killing. He says M23 because M23 is in fights. With who? With the Codeco, with the FDLR, with the government of Congo, with others. So, has he been able to count and associate with proof, strict proof, who were killed by bullets from M23, by bullets from Codeco, bullets from, because he says others have done same thing. So I don't understand him. He's just self-contradicting.
Analysts say such reports delay progress in ongoing negotiations and implementation of related agreements.
When I read the statement, I did not find anything new. It's just yet again a repetition of the same things for the same purposes, and eventually to create more havoc rather than solving the problems. As you rightly said, well, it's a contradiction, because you see, if we have two sets of peace agreements, one between Rwanda and the RDC, the DRC in Washington, and another one between Congolese themselves, among themselves, in Doha. Then you wonder, say, why does it come at this particular time? It's because there are some people, some institutions, some countries even, who do not want that peace to hold.
This controversy emerges as Rwanda takes significant steps, including passing a law ratifying the Washington Peace Agreement between itself and the DRC in a bid to implement the peace process.
The National Identification Agency, NIDA, has launched an initiative to verify and correct civil registration data that will be used to prepare the digital identity card. This process focuses on the personal data already registered for every citizen, starting from newborns, since they too will receive this digital identification. And our Gladys reports.
The digital ID card, known as e-identification card, will be issued to everyone from newborns, foreigners who have been residing in Rwanda for a certain period of time, or who need the service, refugees and migrants. Initially, the process has begun with verifying and correcting the personal information previously registered for each citizen. Some members of the public have embraced the digital ID with enthusiasm. For example, I once lost my government-issued ID card. One major problem this solution addresses is the inconvenience of losing physical identification cards, which often take a long time to replace. Another important benefit is that people sometimes forget to carry their ID cards. With their electronic IDs, you can simply use your phone to display your ID digitally and still access the services you need, even if you leave your physical card at home. The Director General of the National Identification Agency, Josephine Mukesha, explained how the digital ID differs from the traditional one.
Those who have lost their IDs and they need to get a service, because we are starting, the digital identity has a lot of steps. So the first step is the pre-enrollment. Pre-enrollment is for you to verify your information and also to provide your consent. Because as we are going towards the digital identity, every time anybody wants to access your information, you will need to consent. So this is a way for you to first verify the information, so when you are being given services pertaining to identity, you will be always asked to confirm and consent, so you can also revoke if you want.
This digital ID will be provided free of charge and will not require the owner to carry it physically. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, Bob Gakire, urged Rwandans to take part in this initiative, as it will also help them access improved services. It cannot be lost, and it is easy to access information written about you, provided everything is well documented. If there are any errors, they can be corrected and access should not be restricted. Secondly, it aligns with the government's goal of making services more accessible to residents. Instead of requiring people to search for services, services should reach residents where they are saving time and money. It's all in that spirit. In total, over 14 million Rwandans are expected to receive this digital ID card. Currently, every sector has trained youth who are assisting in verifying and correcting the personal information registered for each citizen. The digital ID is expected to be officially issued in June 2026. Enra Gladys, RwandaTV News.
His Eminence Cardinal Antoine Kambanda has called on families to strive to become centers of love and protectors of life. This was the message delivered to over 2,000 families gathered in Rubavu district during a family conference organized by the Catholic Church in Rwanda. Christian people from all 9 Catholic dioceses in Rwanda and neighboring countries are currently in Rubavu district participating in the 3-day family conference as part of celebrations marking the Jubilee of the family. While addressing the family conference attendees, the Cardinal reminded them that the family is the foundation of peace and development, emphasizing that true love looks beyond oneself to one's partner. Participants stressed that the teachings received have helped them identify areas needing improvement in their daily family lives. This 3-day family conference features discussions aimed at strengthening family bonds. It comes as the Catholic Church in Rwanda prepares to celebrate the Jubilee of the family, which will coincide with the 2025 Jubilee of Human Redemption and the 125th anniversary of the Gospel's arrival in Rwanda. Moving ahead, young people and women entrepreneurs are calling for the transfer of the Business Development Fund to the Development Bank of Rwanda to expand funding opportunities for their projects. They have welcomed the government's decision to transfer BDF's operations to BRD, hoping it will streamline loan accessibility for entrepreneurs nationwide. Specialists have observed that while BDF specialized in small business guarantees, BRD's larger lending capacity will create a much stronger impact. The restructuring represents significant progress in improving entrepreneurs' access to finance, aligning with the country's national strategy for transformation and the Vision 2050. To date, BDF has supported over 40,000 projects, while BRD has financed major ventures in agriculture, industry, and infrastructure development. The Rwanda Management Institution, in partnership with the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Rwanda, passed 13 public servants certified in public finance. These have been called upon to make good use of the skills they have acquired to ensure effective public finance management. We have more coming from William Evans Mutabazi.
As part of efforts to continue improving public finance management, ICPAL, the professional body of accountants in Rwanda, celebrated the first cohort of students who completed the CPFM program, which aims to professionalize public finance roles. Participants expressed optimism that the training would improve both their job performance and the efficiency of their institutions.
I have learned quite a number of things from this training. We covered about 7 topics, including planning and budgeting, evaluation and procurement. These are what I have been doing on a daily basis at my workplace, but the training was important because sometimes we do things without deeper understanding of the concept. This was a kind of reflective training to help us carry on with our duties in a more effective way.
Akazi kanje ka buri munsi nkora muri finance
My daily routine is working with finance. I do budget management and finance allocations so that we achieve our institutional objectives. What these PFM trainings help me achieve as someone in finance is to be able to effectively manage government resources. More importantly, I've learned a lot more about budgeting operations and how effective planning and budgeting and fund allocation is my contribution to my country's development. Amin Milamago, the Chief Executive Officer of ICPAL, explained that the motivation behind introducing this program and its long-term plan is to bridge the capacity gap among public servants.
So we said as an institute, our contribution would be to help in really bridging the capacity gap. So we decided to come up with this program, and this program, it's a full certificate covering around 300 hours, but we make sure that we provide that required knowledge and skills, because we cannot be coming in every year. The Auditor General comes in and says there's an issue of capacity and there's nobody doing something about it. So we said our contribution as an institute is to make sure that at least we address that capacity gap, and we are very confident that this program does that.
On her part, Dr. Shalin Mlindahabi, the Director General of the Rwanda Management Institute, said they will continue working with the graduates to ensure that the knowledge and skills they've gained are effectively implemented in their respective workplaces.
It is obvious that after training employees, there are expected changes in how they operate and perform their tasks. In this event, RIMI will get in touch with the various institutions that sent in their employees to establish how they are using what they learned in the training sessions in their respective fields. This helps us know what to improve in our next sessions or what to even drop or maintain, because capacity building is a continuous process.
A total of 13 individuals completed the CPFM program and were urged to use their knowledge to improve public finance management systems, thereby contributing meaningfully to the country's sustainable development. William Evans, RT.
During life's moments, laying hooks, giving away, making moves, breakfast with family. Inyanje is always there. Whatever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyanje.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byarangiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Welcome back to RTV News, and thank you for sticking with us as we head on over to the international scene in Nigeria, where security threats have cast a long shadow over the trade in the northeast for years, with Boko Haram and local bandits posing significant challenges to businesses. Despite the risks, some traders continue to bring essential goods to rural villages, often at great personal cost. Al Jazeera with the details.
Mani Hamisu is broke, but not broken.
having suffered huge losses due to attacks by Boko Haram. His fleet of vehicles used in bringing vital supplies to Maiduguri have all been destroyed by the fighters.
I had more than 100 young people working for me, but as we speak, I can hardly afford to take care of my family.
Mani now borrows vehicles from friends to deliver food items to the city for a fee. Business is gradually picking up at markets across the northeast. Sani Garba has run a fish business here for 30 years. He also incurred heavy losses, but refuses to leave the city. The challenge now, he says, is bringing back his old customers.
Only 40% of pre-insurgency volume of trade is back at the moment. Many of our customers have gone elsewhere.
Officials here at the Baga Road Fish Market say at least 200 traders have been killed by Boko Haram in the 16 years of conflict. Its fighters also killed hundreds of fishermen whose catches filled these tables. During the siege on Maiduguri, local markets like this were all that stood between people and starvation.
While security forces and health workers have been widely celebrated for tackling the insurgency, some residents say it's time to recognize the role played by other groups.
The resilience of our traders and transporters made the difference between life and death for many.
Boko Haram has been degraded, but there is still a significant risk to lives and to economic activities, a reality that continues to hinder businesses from reaching their full potential in Nigeria's northeast. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Maiduguri.
The first migrants have been detained under the UK's new one-in, one-out deportation deal with France after crossing the English Channel. BBC News with more.
The crossings have continued, but with a difference. For the first time under the new returns deal, some of those picked up in the Channel by the border force and brought to Dover yesterday are now being held and face being sent back to France. The government won't say how many. It claims that information could be exploited by the smuggling gangs. Critics believe it's because the numbers are very small.
The first migrants who've arrived on the small boats are now in detention. We will then swiftly make the referrals to France, and that process will now start to be able to return people to France. It's the beginning of the pilot, and it will build as well over time, but we're also clear that France is a safe country, so we will robustly defend against any legal challenge that people try, and we do expect for people to start being returned in a matter of weeks.
To try to stop this on the beaches of northern France, as part of the new deal, for every migrant deported, Britain will take an asylum seeker from France believed to have a legitimate claim to come to the UK. But the Shadow Home Secretary, who went out on a boat on the Channel this week to see the situation for himself, says it's a gimmick.
Boatfuls of migrants have crossed the Channel. I saw them leaving French waters, being picked up, and they're arriving behind us in the docks at Dover. So there is no deterrent effect whatsoever. Their deal isn't working.
Footage from the Channel released by the Home Office. It insists the one-in, one-out scheme will take the UK one step closer to restoring order to the immigration system, preventing life-threatening scenes like these. Small boat crossings are at record levels for this point of year. So far, around 25,500 people have reached the UK in dangerously overloaded dinghies. That's an increase of 45% on the same period last year. The UK will have up to 14 days to request the return of individuals arriving by small boat to France. It could take up to 3 months for the process to be completed, according to the treaty signed this week. From today, migrants in France will be able to apply online to come to the UK. The number of people exchanged is initially expected to be limited. The government hopes to ramp up returns over time, but the project will ultimately be judged on whether the crossings do start coming down. Simon Jones, BBC News.
And that BBC story marks the end of our bulletin. Before we close off, let's have a recap of our headlines. RDF hosted Defense Attaché for a security brief on internal and regional security dynamics. Security analysts in the Great Lakes region shows that certain reports, including those by the United Nations and its agencies, saying they appear to hinder the implementation of the Washington peace agreement between Rwanda and the DRC. On the international scale, security threats have cast a long shadow over trade in Nigeria's northeast for years, with Boko Haram and local bandits posing significant challenges to businesses. And on that note, we have come to the end of tonight's English News Bulletin. On behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us. Until next time, stay safe and have a good night.
ndabashuje ndifuriza